Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. Tracy here, and this is my chat, and it's Have a Yarn with Tracy. So if you want to know, it says Ibiza. So yeah, people always ask, what does it say on your shirt? Because I can't see it all with my hair, which is uber fluffy today. I think it's because it is cold, man, very cold, and a tad damp in the air, although the sun has been out. With a whole shape across the country has the threat of snow. Up north they have snow. They've got an amber warning, sort of a bit more orangey. Ours is a yellow warning, and it goes kind of in a diagonal all the way across the country. Excuse me, I've got to plug my thing in, not that one. That one. Yeah, so amber warning up there, snow, yellow warning, maybe snow. So it is cold, man. And I've heard reports that it has snowed in Medway, which is just up the road about 20-30 miles. No, maybe not even that. Where I used to live, it was 15 miles away. But I'm another 8 or 9. So yeah, up the road. And in Maidstone, which is probably, my old house was 14 miles away. Yeah, that's snow there in parts. Maidstone's enormous. It's like, the town isn't so massive, but the outlying area is all classed as Maidstone for miles around. And I don't know whereabouts it is, but someone I know had put on Facebook, and they live in Maidstone area, that they have snow. So it's close by, but it's not here, because we don't seem to get it as often as kind of the mainland. When we do, we get lots, but you know, none. It's quite sad, because I'd like to have a little bit, but at the same time I don't want Gary to be stranded at work or not be able to get home and all that sort of stuff. It happened to me when I worked for the ambulance service, and they had to put us in a hotel, and it was horrible. Not the hotel, although that wasn't great, because I had a single bed, and it was a very small single bed, and I was frightened of falling out because I'm not used to it. But it was horrible because I didn't have any clothing with me. I only had the uniform, which was the same as paramedics uniform, and made me hot work. So I'd been in that uniform hot all day, and I had to be in it all evening, and then I had to put it on again the next day, and they picked us up and took us to work in a 4x4. So I had the same stuff on, and when I kind of complained to the chief exec, he said, I'll get you some scrubs from the hospital if you have to stay another night. Oh, please no, please not another night. But they dug us out, and they managed to take us home in a 4x4 ambulance to pick us up again the next day. So we did go home, but it, you know, hated it. It's horrible experience. So a few days later, on the way to work, that when it was snowing, I needed petrol. Obviously my car was stuck in work for a good few days until they did dig us all out. And then it was Sunday, and also there was snow on the ground, so nothing was open. And on the way home, I ran out of petrol. So, oh God. And while all that snow was going on at work, I was manning the major incident desk, because I was always the one. Because I used to work the response desk, and I had a lot of experience on major incident and stuff like that. I always ended up with a major incident desk. So I was manning that. And when it was time for me to go home, someone else took over from me. So I kind of rang him up, and I went, I've broke down. Well, actually, it's not exactly broke down. I've run out of petrol. Petrol stations are not open. Not around here anyway. And he said, oh, I'll get... There was this guy that used to work in... he had a Land Rover, and his name was Paul Creasy. So I get Paul to go get you some petrol. So he did. He got a petrol can and went and got me some, and come back to my car. And as luck would have it, where I broke down was outside houses near a sports centre. And they let me use their phone in their loo, and sit in there with them until I got rescued and I finally got home. It was late. It was just so, whole thing was awful. I just hate that sort of thing. You know, it wasn't too bad manning the desk, but staying in the hotel and not having any clothes or toothbrush or any of that stuff, it was just awful. Anyway, let's do the jokes and stuff. The stuff. Okay. As you know, it is Saturday for you, Friday for me. So we've got a new one and we have glossy pictures now. Look at that. Glossy, glossy. We've got Mando walking in a moody skies, but at least they don't seem to be really dark. But we've got these ones as well. So that's going to be interesting. They've changed it up again. So that was that. Gary's jokes. Okay, these ones are tamer, apparently. 2 at the bank. An old lady asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her over. I'll do another one. This is funny. Tracy says I'm getting fatter, but in my defence, I've had a lot on my plate recently. Cool. Right, we'll tick 'em. We'll tick 'em. Tick 'em, tick 'em, tick 'em. Hang on. I did these, didn't I? Husband called the other night and said these girls not. Yep, did that one. Did I do the big long one? No. Okay. That one's very rude. Page 3. Okay. That's page 1. So we'll just put them to the back. We'll work our way back to them then. Goodness gracious. There we go. Put them all together. The over 60 bit, which is way too young. I'm too young for that. Okay. What? For every baby born, 2 women turn into grandmas. As a new grandma, you will look at the mirror and think, I'm too young to be a grandma, but you have to face reality. You are old enough to be a grandma if when you raise your arm to wave, the flab underneath waves first. Not in this t-shirt. You decide to find a job and discover the references on your last resume have all died. The aerobics instructor looks at you and says, everybody take a rest. The things you want to talk about when you see your doctor take more than just one sheet of paper. You don't care what the dentist says about your teeth as long as he says you can keep them. Mary McBride from Grandma Knows Best, but no one ever listens. That was a good one. Very long one, but a good one. And you can become a grandma at 30, so, well, you know. Well, you can. Probably younger, to be honest, these days. Let's not be controversial. Well, it's not just these days, is it? It kind of happened in the 60s, didn't it? So, guys, what have you been up to? Have you been up to anything exciting? I mean, it's Friday. It's not Saturday, I know, because my tomorrow, your today. My today is your tomorrow. Forget my own saying. Your tomorrow, my yesterday. So, yeah, we're coming into the weekend, which is what I'm saying. So, Gary is having his brother over for dinner on Saturday. Most people have a chicken. But we are having the last minted lamb joint because he bought 2 legs of minted lamb and we had one over the Christmas period. And so he said, you know, what should we have? Should we have ham? Should we have this? And I went, no, have the minted lamb because when we start low carbing, we won't be allowed it. And we will be allowed to eat those other things. Like I've got a joint of ham in the freezer. We've got pork, I think. I don't think there's much else. But, you know, the other things that are in there, we can still have it all, but when it comes to minted lamb, it's got sugar in it, we won't be able to have it, so do that. And he said, oh, fair enough. So that is what we've got, and I can't wait, because it's our last roasty. Not saying that Sunday we're starting a diet, because we've still got stuff to use up, but it's our last roasty before, well, I think it is anyway. We're getting near it now though, guys. There's, you know, less and less in the cupboards that we've got to get through, and I can't wait. In a way, I'm going to be sad, but in another way, I just can't wait. I just can't. It's going to be good to get some weight off and start feeling healthier. Yesterday, Gary said those words that no one wants to hear. Think I've got a cold coming. It's like, no. He said a lot of paramedics have been going home ill, and one I was talking to yesterday is all stuffed up with cold, and I think I've got a cold. I was like, no, please, no. No, I just got over the worst virus while we were on holiday, and I just don't want another one, not for a while, you know. So I was, oh, God, no. And then he messaged me a little while later, and he went, it's not a cold. He probably just, where he's working in the garage and it's cold, he probably said, like, runny nose. He went, I haven't got a cold, I'm all right. So you can come home then, you know. That's all right then. But, you know, these viruses, they're all bad and they're all out there and stuff. You know, it's just so much of it. So many horrible ones around as well. They seem to be getting worse, don't they? The super bugs that are around now, they're not like the old cold. Do you remember colds? Do you remember? They're just a little sniffle for a few days. That was it, done. Nothing like that now, are they? Huh. They're all on steroids. Yeah. So last night, oh my God, we watched the Tottenham game, and the most tedious thing I think I've had to sit through in a long time. They were dreadful, and so was Brentford. They were terrible as well. Just most awful match. And the commentators and the manager after us in his analysis, when he said that they played well defensively, they didn't. They could have had Mr. Magoo in defence, still would not have scored, because they just can't. They're useless. Absolutely awful. They have no communication. They have just no direction. It's so bad. I'll tell you what the trouble is, and I could fix this like that. The manager, it was actually Brentford's manager last year. He brought them up from lower leagues. He did really well to get them there, and they were flying high. And so when Postecoglou got the boot, it was, we'll have him. He's not a world-class manager though, is he? He's not. It's a world-class manager is what they need. They're a huge club with huge stadium and money. They don't need a lower league manager that just happened to bring up a team who sits there or stands there looking like Wurzel Gummidge going with chewing gum. Just, I hate that. I even hated it with Alex Ferguson. It was like, oh, for God's sake, shut your mouth. Can you not close your mouth when you chew? What's the matter with you? Anyway, yeah. Not a world-class manager. Just a manager who did well. It's not the same thing. And they need either Pochettino back or someone like Jurgen Klopp. Someone who's brilliant. Not one of these world-class managers like Pep Guardiola or like Rupert Amorim. We don't need a weirdo, you know, that's going to do some odd stuff. And enough of them. Shocking it was. I found myself keep getting hold of my phone and scrolling Facebook. As boring as that is, it was so much more exciting than watching that tedious mess. Seriously. All I can say is thank God for Arsenal right now, because someone's winning. So anyway, enough football. Avi Loeb, oh my God. Oh my God. 3i Atlas, guys. You know, I've been banging on about this for a while now. I'm banging on about it, and I'm so struck by the fact that NASA are not banging on about it, and the scientists that are in the employ of governments are not banging on about it. Avi Loeb is, and you know, he's always whatever you see, you might see things on, if you check it out, because I've mentioned it in the past, and you might see channels that look like him and they're not. They're fake. There's so many fake ones, and they're there to muddy the waters. They're there, I believe, to discredit, to make it look like he's a nutter, a kook, because that is what they do. You know, if someone is shouting out something that they don't want to know, then the tactic is, let's make him look like a nutter. Let's make him look like someone who's eccentric. You know, I was abducted by aliens. Oh, they're crazy. You know, that sort of thing. So, all of those avies are not really avi, but the one and only real avi lobe has always said it is probably a natural object, but these anomalies need investigation. So even if it is something natural, why do they not want to investigate the anomalies that make it special? Because surely if another one comes along, they'll say, oh, we've got a frame of reference. Why do they not want to? I think they are on the quiet, but they're just not sharing this information. It's like the pictures that they put out are the worst pictures that Mars rover took, or whatever it was. I can't remember the name of it. But the camera. Seriously, they were just fuzzy balls. And there's no way that was the best picture that they took. No way. But they don't release anything else. They won't do the spectrograph analysis. They won't do the ultrasonic analysis. They won't put it out there. I bet you they've done it. I bet you they have. Anyway, there is now 15 anomalies, and the latest of them, when you add them all together, they make it something like 1 in 8 million that it is a natural object. All of those anomalies, they all have very high probabilities that it's not natural. Every one of them. The chances of these things happening are so fantastic that the chances against it, you know, is so fantastic. And then you add them all up as a big kind of pile of anomalies. It's ridiculous. Why are they not investigating this? It's my view that they're hoping that people like Ray's astrophotography and Dobsonian power, that their instruments, by the time that object reaches Jupiter, will not really be able to see too well, because it'll be too far for their equipment to really register. They're just hoping that it will leave our solar system and they'll never have to explain it unless another one comes along like it, and they'll say, see, it's just a comet like 3i Atlas was, and that was natural, but they didn't investigate it. Did not investigate to find out if it is or what it is. And the actual explanations they give completely ignore all of the laws of physics. They ignore every argument against what they're saying. They just say it's got volcanic action. But if it did, Avi Loeb will sit there and he'll do all the math and he'll say it can't possibly be because, you know, it was something like every particle had to be exactly the same size that it was pushing out, because if it was smaller, it would be blown back and there'd be a jet the other side, because the dust would be blown back. If it was bigger, it would be stuck there, shielding it, so then the sun wouldn't be getting to it and therefore it wouldn't be doing it. So, you know, I just fascinated by it, really. I know it's not crochet, and I know it's, you know, makes me a space cadet, but I am fascinated by it. I do want to know what is out there, guys. And what is here. I want to know. You know, I don't like the cloak and dagger stuff. And if it makes me some kind of space cadet, you know, what's the words I hate? Conspiracy theorist. That's what they label people, isn't it? That have to question them. Oh, conspiracy theorist. Not. They're the conspiracy of silence. Enough of that. But check out Dobsonian Power. Tiago will have you in stitches. I love his channel. I love his channel. I love Ray's astrophotography for its beauty. the actual imagery, and Angry Astronaut sometimes for his explanations. But don't watch the fake ones. If they look, if they're not any of those three, they're fake. Unless it's a real genuine news channel. And they do sometimes interview Avi Loeb. Haven't for a while. Anyway, enough of my other little hobby. I wish I could explain it well. That's the only thing. And I don't. So what did I put in here? Oh, this is now my little recording bag. And the beauty of my new little contraption is it's good enough. It's big enough to fit in there. I love this thing. It's so good. But all these extra little bits, I must sort of feel like I need to attach them, because otherwise I will lose them. And then I can just get rid of the box. Well, it doesn't matter, I guess. If I lose them, I'm getting another, getting more, because it's so brilliant. Where's that meant to go, do you reckon? There's the little doodad. Oh, that's on the floor. That's just that. I'll put it in a minute. I can't bend down, pick it up. It's dark down there. I have to get a little searchlight. I don't even really know if I want that on there anyway, so I'll just pop it in. So yeah, didn't do any crochet last night, but I have a few things that I really, really want to make now. So yeah, we're doing that. After, oh goodness, I've got to make that blanket as well, haven't I? Yeah, I've got to get on with that. I have done a new Year of Granny Square. I did the one that I mentioned, and I did another one, so that's next week's. Yep, I'm ahead on that. I did some batch recording of giveaways, so I can, you know, be ahead on those. I just need to get my other stuff in gear. My butt. Get to my butt in gear. And then, you know, things are getting on the right track. So we're coming up though. Got lots of appointments. I've got to go and have a CT scan on this lung. Well, thorax is what they put. Why put thorax? I don't know. Anyway, will be revealed, I guess. And then I've got an appointment with thoracics to discuss it, I guess. And then I've got the dentist. The trifecta of misery coming up. Yep. All I needed was another virus, wasn't it? So, thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to get off and upload this, and I will see you on the next one. Take care. Bye for now.